I've just got a very large amount of paints here which I've accumulated over time. I only use a small amount of each one, well not each one, but of selected ones. I like to combine my pigments and they customise for each painting. I'm going to put here just a few of the pigment colours, just swatched out. So we've got pearl red, phthalo green yellow shade, ultramarine blue, phthalo blue green shade, quinacridone magenta, and then we've got acrylamide yellow light and a bit of the transparent yellow over the top. We've got cadmium orange, dioxazine purple, cadmium red light, cadmium yellow, cobalt turquoise light, and phthalo green blue shade mixed with a little bit of white. And then we've also got the glazes down below, so this one is that one is that one, etc. So we've got the cyan magenta yellow is basically thinned out versions of these ones. The phthalo blue, the quinacridone magenta, and one of the acrylamide yellow, which is like an azo yellow. Those are used in the printing process with the CMY and then the K for black as well. So there's a mixture of what we call organic and inorganics. So the inorganics tend to usually not be as vibrant, and although cadmiums can be quite bright, sort of the orange and reds. Tell the difference between inorganic and organic. It's easy enough to look up the pigment numbers or whatever, but some clues can be the ones that are like super duper powerful takeover colours. Those are all organics. Even more vibrant than your cadmium. The ones that have metal names like cadmium or cobalt at the beginning of the name, they're all inorganics, so they're sort of based on what we call in chemistry salts. So I've got a really rusty chemistry degree here. So the other ones that have names like pyrrole and quinacridone and azo and stuff like that in their names, they are all based on carbon chemistry, as in complex ring structures, and they're all synthesized pigments. They're actually different from dyes. Some people have been saying, oh, organic means that it's a dye. Not necessarily. The pigments act differently to the dyes. There's some chemistry that's just similar, but the dyes are made to dissolve and adhere to the substance like wool or whatever, whereas the pigments are like insoluble, finely ground up particles. So that's just a difference to bear in mind. So the earthy pigments, the ones that are called ambers and ochres, etc., earthy ones, which means they originally were like ones just from the ground, from the earth. So mined, etc. Some pigments are, very naturally occurring, but very rare or contaminated with various heavy metals or whatever. Some pigments are used, cosmetics or whatever as well, but oftentimes they're actually manufactured, synthesized, whether they're inorganic or organic. Some of them are kind of like a hybrid, so that'll be our phthalocyanines, phthalo green, phthalo turquoise, is a convenience mix of phthalo blue and phthalo green. So we've got phthalo blue, so the name is phthalocyanine blue, which basically means green leaning blues, based on the copper chemistry, but they're also attached to those complex ring structures, so it's a bit inorganic with the copper part, but attached to another part which is organic, so they're kind of like hybrids. So which would I choose for myself out of this large variety? That I would, if I really had to narrow my palette down, I would prefer to have some opaque pigments, some transparent. The transparent ones glaze better. I have a preference for some bright colours at times, so I definitely want some high chroma colours. The earthy ones can give some richness to where the transparent organic ones don't. So I definitely want a few earthy ones as well. And you're going to get different results depending on like which blue or which yellow or whatever. So I've been finding the red that I've been using most is Pearl Red, so that's an organic. Not as in organic as in, you know, some people use that as a brand for meaning healthy to eat or whatever. So I would definitely use that. I find ultramarine blue very useful, which is inorganic, but it is synthesized in most cases these days. It's just very expensive and rare if you had to get the original mineral that it's from. The yellows, if I had to choose, I would go for one of the brighter primary kind of aza yellows. This one's a mixture with white, Irillimide yellow, light. I find myself using that one the most, but I use in some cases the cadmium yellow medium, but bear in mind that the cadmium and cobalt etc. are considered to be more toxic, both for, you know, the painter and the environment, that you don't want to drink your paint water or aerosol or anything like that. It may be that these may be discontinued at some stage, I imagine. So I would, at this stage I still use it in some contexts. So we've got our red, we've got a blue. Now the green leaning blue, the phthalo blue, is will give you different colours from the ultramarine blue, which is our violet leaning blue. So I'll definitely use both those blues. Now I do find if you want more richer and vibrant violets and purples, I would definitely go for adding a magenta. And if I had the choice between, you know, when I first added magenta, I chose this one called Brilliant Magenta. It's actually a lot of white in it. It's a mixture, a convenience mixture. It's supposed to read what the pigments are in the tubes. So I would use this one here, Quinacridone Magenta, which is by itself. So in the printing process, they would use something similar to these pigments here, Quinacridone Magenta, phthalo blue, and a transparent form of yellow plus black. So if you wanted to glaze without the white being there, I've got a transparent yellow there as well. But to colour it right down, at the very bare minimum, I would probably choose that plus white, my titanium white, wherever that's gone. Plus I find it useful to have a few earthy pigments, such as, there's a few ones to choose from. There's a burnt sienna, Mars violet, Indian red oxide, raw sienna, I've got a dark one here, burnt umber, raw umber, and yellow ochre. I find myself using more often the yellow ochre if I want nice creamy kind of colours. You can technically mix them, but it won't look the same, I feel. I would probably quite like to use Indian red oxide and Mars violet, but a traditional one that couple that I often recommended are burnt umber and burnt sienna. It depends again what you're painting. So whether you want more natural looking colours, you know, sort of subjects. I do have black, but I don't use it a lot. So I've got one carbon black. Now, I like personally the phthalo turquoise, which is a convenience mix of the phthalo green and a phthalo blue, but you could technically, if you had a phthalo green, mix it yourself. Now if you wanted those really, really vibrant, limey kind of greens, the only way you're going to get it really is go for the phthalo family. So, you know, they can be useful depending on what colours, and I like exploring different colours. For example, we've got here cadmium orange, which is a high chroma colour, and we've got a light red ochre, which is an earthy one. You could technically mix a colour similar to that from this with another colour such as blue or something, mute it down, but I haven't actually used that one much. I've used that one, whereas some people with skin tones like to use the orange. The deoxazine purple you could actually mix with the ultramarine blue and a very similar colour, and the magenta. So if I had to choose between these two, I would choose the magenta. So anything else is just a bonus really. Thanks.